Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Sully Squad. No Diego tonight, but I got a special guest, my man Paul from the Cowboys Show, filling in. What's up, Paul? How you doing?
What's going on, gentlemen? Thanks for having me tonight. Glad to talk. Not really glad to talk some Eagles, but you got to keep your enemies close, man, and find out what the hell you guys are doing. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and then I got my man Sean Kilrain, my usual partner. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
Good, man. Chilling. Happy Monday, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's St. Patty's Day. I know. I feel like I should be slamming some Guinnesses right now. You know what I mean? It's funny, Sullivan and Kilrain. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I feel like we're not doing our Irish heritage proud sitting here, not having the Guinnesses. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't make it look better. I got the Asian guy in the middle, Joe.
Yeah.
On St. Patty's Day, right?
It's all good.
I know, right?
I mean, those days are long gone, right? You know?
Right.
Yeah,
So-
but no, we get. You know what? Hey, we got a lot to get into here. I mean, obviously, Eagles lost a lot of guys last week. Trade a bit of course, the big, probably Josh Sweat leaves. He signs with Arizona. Milton Williams signs like a record contract with New England.
Yeah.
He got paid. We touched on that last week.
Yeah.
But the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade, I mean, I think that, that caught a lot of people by surprise. CJ Gardner-Johnson gets traded to the Texans for a 5th round pick and a disappointing offensive lineman that I know we're hoping that Jeff Stoutland could get his hands on. And then, of course, over the weekend, Mekhi Becton signs a 2-year, $20 million deal with the Chargers. So a lot of losses, but it looks like we're starting to sign some guys. So, and then, of course, we'll get into the whole NFL because, I like to talk all the NFL. So, Sean, I'll start with you, man. How worried should we be about all these defensive losses in particular?
Nothing. I mean, nothing to worry about. I think next man up mentality, how he's getting these guys on 1-year deals. As a matter of fact, before we hopped on, he snatched one of the guys from the Giants. He had 6 sacks. Kid looks, and he's young too. All these guys that were signed, everybody's panicking. But if you look at the age, we're a young squad, I think it's almost like a showcase to see what these guys can do, who stays, who goes, and we go from there. But I think these young guys are buying into the Fangio system, whereas we talked about last week, the Dolphins, they were a bunch of bitches. They didn't really want to, work, learn the system and stuff like that. So their loss, our gain, What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I was real quick. You were touching on the Dolphins. I mean, shit. I've been watching football since the Dan Marino era, like the mid '80s. The Dolphins have been softer than Sharman this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when was the last time you thought of defense or something with the Dolphins? The Dolphins have always been soft.
Yes.
But
always have, always will be.
Yeah. So Paul, from an outsider's perspective, what's your thoughts? I mean, because I feel like the Eagles are not necessarily. I'm not going to call it a reset year like some of the guys on WIP are saying. It's just a known fact. I mean, they have to have money to sign Jalen Carter. You got to bring up Nolan Smith. You got to sign the center Jurgens, And then in a couple, Jordan Davis is up, fifth-year option. You got Nakobe Dean coming up. Then you've got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in a couple years. I mean, even the great Howie Roseman, when it comes to salary cap, I mean, the money runs out eventually. I mean, even Howie Roseman, has to allocate for this. And I'll tell you one thing I think is brilliant what the Eagles are doing. It's so smart. Look, for example, they bring Mekhi Becton in last year, right? 1 year deal. He reestablishes himself. He has a great year. Now, a lot of people wanted to keep Becton, but they couldn't. Well, guess what? Becton leaves. They get a fifth-round compensation pick in 26 for him. So if you look at how Howie Roseman's playing this comp game, the Eagles have 20 picks in the next two drafts, with 11 of them being in the first 4 rounds. And that's how you sustain long-term success in the salary cap era. And then Sean, you brought up Ojulari and the kid Uche. Now Uche looked terrible with the Chiefs, but a couple years ago, he had a really good year with the New England. So best case scenario, it's a win-win situation because these guys come to Philadelphia with a chance to establish their market value. If they do, if they become too expensive for the Eagles, well, guess what? You brought Ojulari in for a 4th-round pick. Say he gets 9-10 sacks this year, somebody signs him, you turn that into like a 4th-round comp pick the following year.
Absolutely.
Well, what's your perspective on what they're doing?
I mean, yes, they lost a lot, Joe. I mean, especially defensive side of the ball. I mean, losing Milton Williams, of course, Josh Sweat. And then look at your secondary, Bradley, Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay. That's a lot of people that left. But, Joe, you guys are young and poised. I mean, I wouldn't consider it a rebuild or, to me, Howie Roseman is the genius. But the only problem with that, Joe, you have 20 picks in the next 2 years, 11 in the first 4 rounds. But my thing is it could come back to bite you in the ass because just like you mentioned, those names, Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, they're going to be paid in the same year unless you can boost one before the other. And it's going to come back to bite when you have so many draft picks in the first 3 rounds, the first 4 rounds. These are committed players, no scrubs. I mean, these are players that plug and play. It could come bite you in the ass when you got to play this guy, because you said the names, God, your front line, I mean, your defensive line has to get paid. They're young. They're hungry. They want to get paid first, and Howie does lock them up. But how much is too much, and when do you have enough money to do certain things? That could play in the factor, Joe. I mean, I don't call it a rebuild, though, honestly, because compensation picks go a long way, and you guys have the picks. And to me, I always say certain teams don't have the plug and play, but now you guys are in a mode where you got to plug and play players. Before you were building depth if you would have kept all these players.
Wait, So here's a thought on that too. Like, do the Eagles need? Obviously, the Eagles don't need 20 players. You know what I'm saying? But if now a couple years ago, like before the 2022 season, here's a thought. Like, Howie always says that the offseason doesn't end with the draft, right? So look at the first time the Eagles went out and got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He traded like a 3rd or 4th round pick right before kickoff. So there, it's good to have that ammo because the Eagles are sitting there at 32. Say there's a really good young offensive lineman or defensive tackle that slides down to maybe like 24, 25. Well, he may package a few of those picks to move up 7 or 8 spots. To target a certain guy. You know what I mean?
And that's smart if he does that, Joe, because, I mean, use a package deal. Use your compensatory picks for this year and next year, package them up. Just like you said, you're not going to use all these picks, put 2 or 3 together and move up quickly to get that player. You can move, say you pick 32, hell, you can move back into the first round with a couple 2s or a 3rd next year. I mean, people are willing to do that. We've seen so many draft picks in the last 2 or 3 years. Look at the damn Kansas City Chiefs. They moved back up in the draft to get Patrick Mahomes, and they only gave up a 3rd and a 4th round the following year to do that. Just move up, 4 or 5 spots to get up there. Howie can do that. He has the assets to do it. And man, that's what scares me with your guys' draft pick, because you guys can come back and get a nasty player in the draft in the first round just by moving up.
Well, this just in, Lane Johnson just reworked his contract.
Okay.
So that helps out the team, like what Joey was saying. And
Hmm.
yeah, these guys are just built on a mission. They're young, they're hungry,
Yeah.
just like you said. And to bring up your point with draft picks, look at the 32nd, 32 pick, Ravens. We traded with them. Who'd they get? Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And we ended up drafting Dallas Goddard. And I mean, it goes on and on. I think, like you said, Paul, I think this 32 pick is going to be traded. I see it. I seen it in
Hmm.
a mock draft that we trade with the Bears. I don't know how, I don't believe all I say, but it would be nice because they're rebuilding. But whatever we can get, I'm all for it. Like you said,
Yeah.
because Howie's
Agree.
the evil genius.
Well, like,
Yeah. I hate saying it. I hate saying it. Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, you brought. I mean, I brought up the possibility of trading up in the first round, but yeah, like you said, like there, it's probably like as just like the 2018 draft, it's just as likely they may move down. Like for instance,
Hmm.
say the Giants sitting there at number 3. Say
Yeah,
they don't go quarterback early, and say like the kid from Mississippi slides a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you may see a team that instead of taking a quarterback in the second round, they want to move up to that 32nd spot so they get that 5th-year option. And then the Eagles,
okay.
I mean, who knows? Like the Eagles could actually trade down, move down 12, 14 spots, pick up an extra pick, and then you have even more ammo to move up and
Yeah,
down. You know what I mean? So like
it's
Yeah.
pick your poison. You're right. The,
um Chris Rapizzi with a comment here. He says, "Dogs will run wild." Okay, yeah, that's the Georgia Bulldogs. Zach McDevitt says, "Great franchises let solid mid-round draft picks walk to get overpaid by brand franchises like Arizona with Josh Sweat. It's about staying good long term." Side not Sully. What's up, fake? What's up with the Faquan jersey? Oh, the Faquan jersey. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
you mean Shayshawn?
Yeah.
Shay
Shayshawn
Sean.
Barkley.
Shay Sean.
Shayshawn. That boy Shayshawn, he could play.
Joe, let me ask you guys a real quick. What was the biggest disappointment in your releases this year? To me, honestly, it was Becton. I mean, for $10 million, $20 million for 2 years, that was a piece that you guys needed on this offensive line. I know Stoutland University can plug and play players. He can get a guy from Wawa, bring him in, and he's an all-pro. I get that. But to me, it was Becton. Who do you guys think it was? Milton Williams or, maybe a Becton? Who do you guys feel?
I mean, at first to me it was like Becton, like I said last week to Joey, but then there was a good stat that Steen is 4-0.
Hmm.
He protects, he's solid, he doesn't give up that much, but to lose Becton, just to see what he brought to the table, to be like almost like a first round
Yeah.
injured draft pick, and then Stoutland you just brings him out and he becomes a guard slash tackle, which is pretty hard for a guy to do, but he conquered it and he did it, and props to him. But yeah, I would say Becton.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I would have loved to have kept Becton, but the thing is, though, I mean, you know, for his
Next man up mentality.
for as good as he was, I mean, 10 million a year. They do have to. It's obvious they're having cash problems. You know what I mean? There's a reason they're doing this. And then, Sean, you sent me a stat that the Eagles averaged like 35 points in the games that Tyler Steen started.
Yeah,
So as good as Becton was, and I hate the thoughts of losing him. If you're still scoring 30 some points, like I guess the other 4 guys should be good enough to hold, for Steen to hold down that position. You know what I mean?
Sure.
oh, absolutely. Like the guy that I'm high on, and I hope he gets his due and gets some play rep is Trevor Keegan, 6'5", 308. He's got quick feet, but now with all this shuffling the O line, Stout and Liu, I think it's a next man up mentality. It's going to be audition, but I think Steen's locked in for that position.
How do you feel about Kenyon Green coming in from the Texans? What's your voice on him?
Mm. I think like Joey said earlier, I think he's going to work out the kinks. see what best fits him, where he needs to go, and if he's a solid backup, I'm good with it because, like Stoutland said, all my backups I treat like starters, not backups, which is awesome because it gives you that mentality. Like when you go in, you know your assignment, you know what to do, and are you kind of nervous or whatever? Yeah, but he prepares you for what you got to do.
Yeah, I was looking at his stats. He actually played 3 out of positions plays last year. I mean, he played right tackle, moved over to the left side. Started 2 games over there as well on injury wise. But he is a player. He's a utility player. He's not afraid to learn different spots, and he's with the best O line coach out there. Stoutland can make him into something, and that's incredible when you treat your backups like starters. Because Sean, you already said it 10 times. Next man up, and that's what he believes. That's what you guys believe in. I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's a solid pickup because you really didn't pay anything for him, honestly. If you think about it.
true.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too. I mean, pick him where they pick. It's going to be best player available. So I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
Eagles could go safety. They could go D line. I mean, shit.
it's
There might
pick your poison.
I was gonna say there could even be a young offensive lineman there. Maybe there's a guy that could play that maybe is a right tackle that you could play at right guard for a couple years and then you groom him behind Lane Johnson. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So this isn't Eagles related, but Paul George is out for the season. That came out.
Oh, I'm done. I can't do the show. See ya.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think that's something we expected. The
we've
tank of the
seen the
season,
writing
right?
on the wall.
Yeah, you can
You
expect
know,
that. I mean,
it's-
the tank is in progress. So just like screw it, like what's next? You know what I mean?
Hey, Paul, Paul George, if you're out there, I know you do a podcast. You're more than welcome to hop on ours.
Hey, there you
Even
go. Right?
Paul's,
Yeah, exactly.
because I guess podcasting is more important than basketball, but
Well,
different strokes for different folks, right?
yeah. Well, I was gonna say I don't even want to waste my time on the Sixers, but they're in must lose situation and they
Oh.
won yesterday, so that was a crushing win.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
bad
It's
when
a
you
lot.
want to. Yeah, it's bad when you want the team to lose and they fucking pull something out.
Yeah.
It's nuts,
Yeah.
dude. So,
But-
but yeah, no, I mean that's. So, what do you guys think now? The fact that they signed Uche and also Ujulari, and they also brought Pat Johnson back too. He may not even make the team, but I mean they're bringing him back but it wouldn't shut. Now the thing is that Ujulari and Uche, neither of them play the run really, and neither does Bryce Huff. So it kind of has me wondering if maybe, we were talking about the Eagles having all those picks. Maybe Howie offers a couple picks to get rid of Bryce Young. Maybe
I think that's going to happen.
or Bryce.
Just
When
like
I say Bryce Young, I meant Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff.
Yeah, it's okay. Bryce Young, Bryce Huff. I really think that with this all brewing, that's going to go down. He's going to try to, most likely, like I seen in mocks, drafts, and with Atlanta getting Bryce Huff and Carolina. Whatever. So be it. I mean, whatever we can get, or just like you said to me, make him a situational pass rusher. But I think a lot of people that are fans want him gone because he played just like his number. Zero, zilch, nothing.
And I like what Joe said. I think you package them up because you mentioned the names, situational players, Sean, but you can't play a situational player $15 million on the edge. You know what I mean?
No,
To be a
absolutely
situational
not.
player. Package
Stealing
him
that
up,
money.
send him off, buy the contract out, ship him out. It's not going to cost you. Maybe say it'll cost you a 3rd round pick, whatever. That's fine. Get rid of the contract because you're bringing in young players. I want to ask you guys a question. I mean, being an outsider, I hear this Dallas Goddard rumor. I hear all these things about that. Now is something on the wall here. Now these guys aren't scrubs; they're not slouches. But Kyle Green, of course, and then you have Harrison Bryant coming over from the Raiders, 2 tight ends that you signed this year in the free. Are they practice squad players or are they coming up? Because you still have what's the name? Cantilleri, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
You got Calcantara, you have EJ Jenkins, and I'm not gonna butcher the Samoan dude's last name, but you have him. So the Samoan dude and EJ Jenkins were on the practice squad.
Okay.
But as far as Calcaterra, he made the active roster. EJ Jenkins started like 1 or 2 games. They were high on him before I think he got injured. But the guys you bring up, Harrison Bryant and the guy from the Colts, they're really high on the guy from the Colts because of
Mhm.
his blocking and the way he's like a multi-tool tight end. Can catch
Mhm.
out of the backfield like a Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see come camp who stays, who goes.
I
Is there something with Goddard though? I mean, is that maybe we're talking
Availability
about
and
trade bait? Is it a
durability.
possible trade bait? He's an older tight end for you guys considering it, but is
Yeah,
this something that we can package up for a team that needs that tight end?
yeah.
Okay.
Say ya. You know,
I think the writing's on the wall with Goddard. I mean,
yeah,
like, I think he's due. I think he was due like 14 million this year or
yeah.
something like
I was
that.
just gonna
So
say that 14.5, but yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like I said to you, Paul, availability and durability. Like he started. I'm not. I don't know the years, but he played 15, played 12, 10, and kind of
Yeah.
dwindled. I think he played 10 this year. So, but when he's on that field, with all due respect, he shows up and shows out. But he's not durable. You
well,
know.
it's a damn shame because Goddard was great in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
postseason he stepped up, but to Sean's point, I mean, he does miss a lot of time. So, and 14 million is a lot of money. So,
Right.
it does like bringing these guys in. I mean, between Calcantara, Gleason, and Bryant. I mean, the three, and the Eagles don't throw to the tight end that much. So, are you really gonna, I mean, Goddard was good in the running game when it comes to blocking. So, I mean, they'll miss that. You know what I mean? But by most accounts, this kid Gleason can block pretty decent. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
He was ranked pretty high. I
yeah, so I
mean,
mean, you get rid of Goddard and you rotate those guys, and maybe even draft a kid in the second, third round. I mean, you're all of a sudden you're tight because I mean, let's face it. You're paying big money to the tight end. Well, now you're paying huge money to a running back, and you're paying huge money to a linebacker in Zach Bourne. Well, you got to make up that money somewhere. So
yeah.
you got to you got to go a little cheaper in the tight end position.
Right. Right. Where does Adoree Jackson fill in for you guys? I mean, your corners are nasty. I mean, is this a nickel slot guy for you, Adoree
Darius
Jackson?
Slay's position. He's
Really?
going to
Okay.
fill that position. I think he's going to fill that position.
Okay.
You know, and just to bring up to your point about secondary, I think you're going to see DeJean get off of the special teams because we signed a gadget player, return man from Atlanta who's pretty solid.
Was that Avery Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, kudos to there because I really didn't want him there, even though he did a hell of a job. But
Hmm.
his main focus is secondary. I mean, but yeah, Dory Jackson, to your point, is Slade's position.
Okay.
Kelly Ringo's kind of tight in the hips, but I think going into camp, it's every man's job. See best man. See
Okay.
who wants it, who's going to get it. So
Hey, here's a name. Here's a name too. Now I don't think he'll. I don't think that he will win the job necessarily. But they kept Eli Ricks here for a reason. I mean, Eli Ricks doesn't play special teams. They kept him on the roster all year, so Eli Ricks is going to be in play too.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, next man up. See
Okay.
who wants it more.
Gotcha.
Now
To
I'm not.
Mike's point, go ahead.
Well, I'm not seeing this though. Michael Kaepernick Jr. says Goddard or Huff with picks to the Bengals for edge rusher Hendrickson. Well, first off, the Bengals won't take the Bengals already are spent. I mean, they just spent all that money on the receivers. Like they're not going to. If they're going to lose Hendrickson, they're not going to want to add Bryce Huff's contract. So I'm not seeing that. And then also Goddard at 14 million. They're spending so much on the offense already. They can't afford a $14 million tight end.
Yeah, they just
rumor
spent 200.
has
They
it they
spent
might
230.
draft.
Go ahead, John.
They might draft Tyler Warren, Paul and Joe.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. I've seen a couple of mock drafts with that. I mean, that's you get him on a
Solid
5-year
pick.
deal, half the price of what you're going to pay Goddard. Why not go young? And you're getting the best tight end in the country, a generational player. But Joe, just like you said, the Bengals spent $275 million today. Between two
Crazy.
players on the offensive side of the ball, and they're letting a stud like Hendrickson request a trade, get out of there, paying him nothing. Like if
Right.
I'm on the defense, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? We can score
Exactly.
50, but we can't stop anybody, man. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
almost
not.
a slap in the face to Hendrickson because
Yeah, it is.
he
It
led the
is.
league in sacks.
Hmm.
And, to do this to him, it's kind of dirty. But,
Right.
I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles in the NFL,
And to me, it makes it worse for the team that signed him because you see the Myles Garrett deal. I mean, the price goes up. The value's already been set. The only way I can see it, if a team has the money, they're going to do a sign and trade for Hendrickson, and that could break you the bank for you right there for an all-pro defensive end. It's just driving the price up, and Hendrickson's holding all the cards here because he's still getting paid no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Papernick Jr. here says, did DeJean at safety and Ringo slot? I wouldn't move DeJean. I
No.
mean,
No.
I hope.
He is staying right where he's at.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I guess if he play, I mean, if you did play him at safety, he could still cover the slot as the safety. But I'm not seeing that. Plus, you'd have to change the song too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to change the song.
Yeah. Know what else is? Know what else is interesting too? A lot of people forget. I brought it up the Fargy show. Lewis Seen, the guy we got from the Vikings, 6'2", 200 pounds, safety. I mean, a lot of people are forgetting him, but I'm interested to see what he does or where he goes or plays.
Right.
Because the kid got size, and he was a first-round draft pick coming out of Georgia for the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel about DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson? I mean, basically for nothing here, a backup player. I like it because he's still young. And you know what? I've always been, coach, and I've always said, hey, like, if I got a mobile quarterback, I don't want a guy like Dak Prescott, a Cooper Rush. I don't want those, 1A player versus an opposite 180 player. DTR can throw the ball. He's still young. He's mobile. He can run the same system as a Jalen Hurts. How do you guys feel about, DTR coming over? Basically for nothing. I mean, cheap price.
Good. I like it. We got two solid backups.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Key, like I said to Joey, is finally QB2. Little Hands Pickett is in Cleveland, So the kid, the writing was on the wall when he came in and played, man. He played lights out. Can see the field, throws a nice long ball, What else to say, I'm happy for him. And Dorian Thomas, he was good at UCLA when Chip Kelly was there.
Yeah.
He knew how to use him. He runs. He throws a nice ball. So yeah, I'm happy with what we have.
Okay.
Here's one more on the Eagles, and then I want to get to Eddie Prather's comment about the NFL. But so Mike Lauro has a possible trade here. I mean, he's just throwing it out there. Huff a third and a fifth to Vegas for Meyer and a fourth. Now that would make sense, except if I'm the Raiders though, and I'm taking on Huff's contract, I'm only giving you Meyer. I'm not giving you a 4.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what though, I would consider doing that if I were the Eagles.
Sign me up.
Yeah, for the Eagles, I think the Eagles, I think that's just Christmas in April for you guys if that happens. But to me, I don't think the Raiders would do that. I mean, they have Brock Bowers out there. They have Michael Mayer out there, 2 tight ends, generational players. But they're staple pieces. I mean, you're not going to find that on any other team. 2 starting tight ends. That's all pro caliber. I wouldn't. And Joe, you said Huff's contract. Nah, I can't take that. I'm going to rebuild year. I want to start over and get young and start right there with the Raiders, especially drafted at 6.
Yeah, Michael Packard Jr. We touched on this a little earlier. What do you guys think of the linebacker we signed from the Giants? I love it. I love it. I love it.
A lot.
For one year, $4 million. He's coming here on a prove it deal. He's only 24 years old. Like we were saying before, there. The only thing is that we got a bunch of DNs that like Nolan Smith is decent against the run, and Jalix Hunt did decent against the run, but Huff blows against the run. Uche sucks balls against the run, and this guy Ujulari, his strength is not against the run either. So like, I mean, I'm all for getting to the quarterback, but someone's going to have to set an edge against the run. You know what I mean? Like that's the only concern. Like maybe they draft that, or maybe Patrick Johnson does make the team and he plays some. Maybe he rotates in there some first and second downs, just to keep to not get killed on off tackle plays.
Right.
But let's get to the league a little bit. Eddie Prather with a comment. says anyone else besides me hates Washington getting the Redskins getting Tunsil. Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't
mean,
like it. I mean, but it's the way the league goes, and you know they want to beat us, so bring it. Bring your lunch bag.
To me, it's a bad thing. Me being a Cowboys fan, you the Eagles. Eddie's actually a Cowboy fan too. I mean, when you got the money, you know what I mean. You can build your roster, but one man is not going to bring the commodity and scheme on you. One man's not going to do it all. But Tunsil is a hell of a player. I'll give you that. And it wasn't a bad deal either. You think about it. They didn't really break the bank for him either.
Yeah, the only thing about Tunsil I still think Tunsil's a top 10 left tackle, but
yeah,
he did have a lot of holding penalties last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I mean, here's hoping as you as a Cowboys fan, as us and Eagles fans, that here's hoping that somehow maybe he's losing a step.
Keep on holding, baby.
Yeah, he did struggle against the elite pass rushers on that end over there. I mean, there was one game he gave up 3 sacks, and it was just okay. Well, players with a good bull rush or a swim move with, finesse speed, he does struggle with that. And the Eagles front four are good enough to do that. So it's going to be hard in this division to see how he does. But he, just like Eddie said, he is a top 5 left tackle. I agree. I throw top 3 except for the holding penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, going into last year, I definitely would say top 5, top 3. But I mean, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he's definitely up there. I mean, yeah, he's definitely up there. I mean, luckily for the Eagles, I don't think he's as good as our guy Jordan Mailata. So I mean, at least at least we still got Washington there.
Right. True.
But let's get into some of these other. All right, so a week in the free agency, lots of moves. Who? I'll start with you, Paul. Like who would you think? Who would you think is like the? Who would you give the Dan Snyder Award for the best first week of free agency? Because if you remember back in the day, everybody would like be blowing Washington, like, oh man, they signed Albert Hainsworth and all this shit. And then you play the games and like he's passed out on the ground. So who do you think had the best first week of free agency so far?
Chicago Bears, man. Chicago Bears. I mean, 3 plug-and-play offensive line starters. You're building depth on that defensive line. You go out and get Grady Jarrett from the Atlanta Falcons. I think this team is built right now. I mean, when you are – honestly, I mean, I know you guys won the Super Bowl and the Washington Commanders were, an NFC championship as well, 2 top teams in the NFC. But when you got 3 teams out there, 2 teams that are 13-4 and the other one is 11-6, in NFC North, and you're the Chicago Bears, and you come in at 8-9, whatever you did, and you're paying the money to get better in that division. I give a lot of respect to the Chicago Bears this year because man, they're spending money this year. Number one, they got to protect Caleb Williams, and they're going out and do it. 3 offensive linemen, Joe bringing in Joe Tooney. I mean, that to me is they're doing their job. And you know what? Hey, what you do in the draft or the off season, but just like Sean said, next man up, you got to perform on the field, man. So I give the Chicago Bears right now.
Yeah, Eddie Prather says the Chargers had a nice first week too. I agree with that too. I agree with you on the Bears. I mean, the Chargers, they went out and got Mekhi Becton. They went out and got. I think Najee Harris is going to be pretty good for them.
I don't know. I think he's washed up, Joe. I mean, watching him, I get a lot of Pittsburgh games up here watching him, and he's underperformed to me. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't run the ball anymore. So, I mean, when you got goodness gracious, the backup, what was his name? Warren, I think Warren is the backup up here. He outperformed Najee Harris a lot up here. So I don't know what Najee has in the tank left.
Well, we'll definitely see this year because Harbaugh likes to run the ball.
He does. He does.
Memphis Showboats fan says how the Eagles keep loading up. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, we actually lost a lot of players.
I think a comment on there, Joe, too, is about the salary cap, too. Like, there is no salary cap because of how the Eagles are loading up. I think he means that. But, look, when you got a guy that's a book genius and Howie Roseman, he knows the books. It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing, though,
It's 1-year deals. I mean,
right.
It's like a show and prove. Who makes the team, who doesn't. There is a lot of guys, but, I mean, they're auditioning for a spot, Yeah.
And Sean, you're getting ahead of the curve too. You're not paying people, late, in free agency. You're paying them before the market hits. You a lot of people say, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. How are you going to pay both these guys? Well, it happened last year. They both paid them. They're happy, and they're long-term guys at a cheaper rate than you're paying.
Yeah.
Top 5 or 6 wide receivers in the league right now. You're ahead of the curve. It's smart. It's smart.
Well,
And the best. Go ahead, Joey.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, to put it in perspective, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith make a lot less than Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
The Bengals made them wait, and now they're paying the price. And Howie, like you said, jumped ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of people want to come to the team because not only of a winning culture, but just of how good the city is, the team, the fans. You hear it in the guys' interviews.
To me, it's a locker room. It's a locker room, man. It's a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood. I mean, you see all these other, the BS, especially like in Dallas, the big bullshit social media that we have. You never hear that in the Eagles Foundation. It's behind closed doors, and it's dealt with behind closed doors. People want to come to that and build a culture, man. Like, you want something to say about it, we'll say it to my face. We don't blast it on PR. And that way, I love how you guys are building the foundation. I hate saying that, I really do, but shit, sign me up. I'll play for $1. You know what I mean?
Mike Packard Jr. says, what are the odds of Howie making a trade in this year's draft with all those picks he has in next year's draft, with 5 in the first 100 and 3 third-rounders picks next year? I don't
going down.
I think they're definitely going to make moves. I mean, Howie definitely loves to make trades, and like we said before, like they do have to replenish some depth on this team, but they don't need all those picks. So I think it's a really good bet that he packages a few of them for certain, for specific targets. You know what I mean? Like last year's draft, like when Cooper DeJean slid down, Howie immediately got on there, moved up to get Cooper DeJean. Like, this year, you don't know. Like, if say teams fall in love with a couple of these quarterbacks, and a defensive tackle slides down or something, or somebody good, maybe one of the good safeties slides down early second round, and the Eagles are like, hey, you know what? We better trade up to get this guy. So maybe they move up 15, 20 spots and go get him. You know what I'm saying?
What one position would you guys move up for, being at 32? Say if you want to get to that 20 spot, what would you guys give up, and what position would you go for? Knowing that there's a lot of defensive holes to fill. What would you guys give up, and how far would you move up for what position?
Well, it's hard to, position, it's hard to say, because I could say, say there's a really good right tackle that can play right guard. You might want to move up for that, right? Say there's a really good defensive tackle, you want to replace Milton Williams. Or here's one in particular, safety. Because right now, you just traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Say you love the kid from Georgia. Maybe
Malachi Starks.
Maybe you love the kid from Georgia, and maybe you got to move from 32 to say 25 to get him. Mm-hmm. And with having all those picks, maybe you parlay a few of them to move up to 7 spots to get that kid.
Okay. Yeah, Malachi Sparks. I think he's the second-rated safety in the draft to me. I like the way he plays the ball hawk. He's a big physical guy. I think he should be right around your area. But if he's what you're targeting, hell, package something up and move up 4 or 5 spots to grab him. It's not going to hurt you with all your draft picks.
Give me the kid Graham from, if we're talking moving up, D tackles, the kid Graham from
Michigan.
Yeah. Grant, all those kids, they can play.
I agree.
So,
Michael Pappert Jr. says the Steelers better sign Rodgers or Russ with all that offense. If they go Rudolph, the Steelers done bump their head. You could tell though, with the amount of money that they signed Mason Rudolph, they have no intention of him being the star. I think he signed for $4 million or something like that. So
yeah, $4 million.
They're going to get somebody.
Yeah.
They're going to get somebody. They may even draft a guy, but I don't know. I got a feeling that Rodgers, Rodgers is going to wind up there. I think he's just. The rumor is where they're saying he's waiting out the Vikings.
Yeah, it's down to the Giants, the the Steelers and the Vikings. I think the Vikings is the best suited team for him, the weapons that they have. But then again, the only issue is the Pittsburgh O-line. Do you really want to go to a place coming off the Achilles where you're going to get your ass kicked? He's not a mobile quarterback anymore. Russell Wilson ran for his life a lot of plays. So I don't think he goes there, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have learned their lesson drafting a QB and throwing Pickett into the fire. I think they learned their lessons with a rookie quarterback. I think they do go out and get a veteran.
See,
they
now,
have to.
The Vikings make sense for Rodgers, but I'm not. But I don't understand. I don't understand Rodgers for their perspective, though. I mean, like the whole point. Like the Vikings spent a shit ton of money, in free agency. They brought in. They're a team. I think, by the way, had a really good free agency so far. They went out. They go out and get Jonathan Allen. They signed an offensive lineman to help their offensive line. Who was it? Hicks, I think they signed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then they go out and they get Hargraves, right? All right. So you could bring Aaron Rodgers in, and I get maybe you're nervous about McCarthy because he's in his first year. But isn't the whole point of having a young rookie quarterback is so he can play, so you can
you see what he's worth, see what he is about.
Not just that, but you want to try to win when you got your guy on the rookie pay scale.
Exactly.
You go and sign Aaron Rodgers. I mean, unless they're only giving him a 1-year deal, but then that's 2 years that you had McCarthy sit. He only gets 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's got a 5-year rookie contract.
Right.
New England's the team for me that kind of upgraded too.
Right. Okay.
Except for I think they're going to address, and I think they're going to trade up for a wide receiver, veteran or rookie.
I think that's where McMillan goes, honestly. I mean, I think they go, tournament McMillan from Arizona. I think they do get that weapon to be in the Patriots.
Yeah, he had a good pro day today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where do you guys see Jameis Winston going? I mean, is he into play for one of these teams? I mean, he's a gunslinger. You think he's going to stay? You think he's going to sign with the Giants? Okay.
Yeah. Giants.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he was there today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was there talking to him today. I mean, Jameis Winston, it could be Pittsburgh too. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, it could be any of these teams. I mean, really, everybody, it looks like Aaron Rodgers, basically, like Mike Packard Jr. says, he's in his cave. He's in his cave in the dark smoking. You know what I mean? Because he's making everybody wait.
Yeah.
I mean.
And you know what, Joe? That's a perfect thing because Tomlin is a no bullshit guy. It's my way or highway. I can't see Tomlinson, saying, "All right, hey Aaron, we're having a team meetings tomorrow. Show up, 4 a.m. Mike, I'm still going to be in my black room, sitting there, doing my meditation." I can't see Tomlinson and Aaron Rodgers being on the same page, man. I just can't see that,
Yeah, like I think Winston. See, I think if Rodgers does go to Pittsburgh, then I could see Russell Wilson going to the Giants, and then I could see Winston going. Winston probably would make sense in Minnesota because, like Eddie Prather says, JJ McCarthy is coming off a major injury. Well, Winston could be a good bridge quarterback for him. You know what I mean? So say McCarthy's not 100%. You put Winston in there with all those weapons, at least he has some experience, and then Winston could just slide back into the role of backup when you play McCarthy. I think that kind of makes a little sense.
Listen, I'll tell you, I just hope Jameis Winston doesn't sign with anybody. I hope he comes down to my land down there because we have no fucking quarterback behind Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
we have one quarterback on the roster. That's Dak Prescott. That's it.
You know what? I feel like he makes sense for you guys too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So speaking of Dallas, what's your thoughts on their free agency so far?
You know what? We have $54 million. We're re-signing our own players, but I like some of the signings. I like Kenneth Murray coming over the linebacker. I think he's a solid guy. Coming out of Oklahoma, only been in the league 2 years at a Charger land. I think he's a good solid pickup. We are signing players, but we're not signing the right players right now. We're not signing key position players. We're building a roster, but we're not putting a team together because honestly, I don't know what Schottenheimer is going to do. I don't know what Eberflus's system is going to be. I have no idea until I see it in OTAs and spring ball. I have no idea, but
You
I
got
didn't. I need
Miles Sanders, baby. You're going
Yeah, that's
places.
what I said. I'm going to the Super Bowl, baby. I got Miles Sanders in my running back here. You know that he could be. I mean, him and Javante Adams are. You put them together, you got a solid running back. But every team's by committee. But you got to have that one back by every team, man. You know, you got to have a solid back. But yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. Plus, we got Paris Campbell too, so we're definitely going to the Super Bowl too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So,
there you go.
we're definitely going to the Super Bowl.
Watch out.
Yeah, I see. I think you guys will draft a. I think you guys will draft a running back at some point. Eddie Prather says I would rather have AJ Dillon than Sanders. Yeah, I mean the thing is though, like, I mean I know the Eagles signed on paper.
Yeah.
On paper, as an Eagles fan, I like the AJ Dillon signing, but you know, then again, who knows his health? I mean, he missed all last year with a stinger, and
Yeah.
you know
That wasn't no stinger.
He says he got medically cleared.
That was a neck injury.
What's that?
I said that was no stinger.
No, I know, but they
that was a neck injury.
No, but I agree. But they said he got a stinger and it got worse and worse in his neck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, if he's healthy, I think he'll be a good backup running back. But the bottom line is that you know, there's no guarantee he's going to be. I mean, he could be another Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow.
I hope not, dude.
Wow.
I don't want Quadzilla like that. Will Shipley we got. I mean,
Will Shipley's a good player though. Coming out of
Yeah.
Clemson, you guys picked up late. He's a solid running back. He's a lunch pail guy. He fits your scheme, you know.
yeah.
See,
And then you got Van Summering before you say anything, Joe. He's our fullback. He's not going to be a linebacker.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I hope we still draft a running back. Like it's.
Oh, I think we will.
You know,
Kid from Georgia, Etienne.
You like Trevor? What's his name? Not Trevor. Is it Trevor?
Nah, it's Trevor's his brother.
Yeah,
from
what's
Jags.
his other brother? Yeah, I forgot what the hell his name. He's got so many Etiennes in there. There's 4 more coming up. Clemson coming up. Yeah, I think you guys go scat back. I think you guys need a small running back like a Judkins possibly, Sean. You know, somebody like that, a scat back to get out of the backfield.
Okay.
You know, that's what I think you guys have because shit, what scares me is going back to the Sproles days, man, where you have that back out of the backfield.
Yeah.
You know, especially with Saquon in the backfield, run, you know, a split, split eye right or something like that. And you have, you know, Judkins on the outside, and you can run him on the wheel route, and that's a mismatch for a corner, you know.
Just like I said to Joey, this draft is heavy in running back, so I'm looking forward to seeing who goes where.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eddie Prather asked where Gainwell went. He went to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
He says Trevor is University of Georgia. Travis is with Jacksonville.
Travis Etienne. Okay. Yeah, that's what. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, anything else stick out to you in the league? Like you mentioned, Chicago as improving. I'll tell you a team I don't understand what the hell they're doing. Although I saw on X, someone said that they have the most cap space in 2026. So maybe this is what they're doing. Seattle Seahawks. You trade Geno Smith, you get rid of DK Metcalf, but it looks like, you talk about a reset year. To me, it looks like Seattle's having a reset year.
Yeah.
You're getting younger at quarterback in Sam Darnold. You're probably not going to do shit this year, but the 2026 offseason, I was reading that they're going to have more cap space than just about every other team. So when you talk reset / rebuild, maybe that's exactly what Seattle's doing.
I mean, they did bring in Puka at a kind of a nice price, $15 million. I think it was 13 average salary for him. But you're right, Joe. I mean, getting rid of Metcalf, releasing Lockett. Yeah, you signed your quarterback long term for 4-year deals. I think Darnold got the ball, But your youngest wide receiver is Jackson Smith and Jigba Smith, and he's 24 years old. I think it's solid to bring in this. You're building for the future. I think they have it's going to be like
they did just sign Cooper Kupp, like you said. So I mean, he's somebody to throw to.
And then they have a decent tight end. Oh, Noah Fant, tight end. Yeah. Then there's another.
Running back's fine. Kenneth Gainwell, Charbonnet, solid. 2 young guys too.
Yeah. There was some wide receiver on Seattle to Eddie's comment, but yeah, they're pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he asked if Cup can stay on the field. Well, that's become the big question. He gets hurt a
I
lot.
mean, maybe a change of scenery. Yeah, Seattle's field. Who knows? He's from
Yeah.
that area.
I mean, you're never going to get the Triple Crown Cooper Cup ever again. That
No,
was a once in a
no.
lifetime thing. The injury played him. But hell, man, if he can give you 60 balls, as a slot guy number 2 or outside guy number 2 with Jackson Smith,
Yeah,
I think he's fine, for that kind of price tag.
Yeah.
and Jigba Smith is the wide receiver from OSU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they stuck out, and I'll tell you another team that's lost a ton, San Francisco. That now
Oh my God,
Dude, the Whiners. Yep. Hey, Palmer's a bitch.
they're going to be in. I'll tell you, you know what? You know what's going to suck actually now that I'm thinking about it, guys. I think there's a real good bet the Rams could possibly be the number 1 seed next year.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah.
Look, I mean, actually, now that we just thought about this, I mean, Arizona might get a little bit better. Arizona,
Yeah.
but I'm not in love with them. I mean, if you think about it, out of all the divisions, the NFC South is always a state of flux. I mean, they're going to beat each other. You got Tampa. Carolina might be a little better, but none of those teams are really any good. And then our division. Our division's going to be tough with us, Washington.
Yeah.
You got Paul. You guys with a healthy Dak are going to be harder, and even the Giants. People shit all over the Giants, and rightfully so. They really did blow last year, but the Giants. If just say hypothetically the Giants do bring Russell Wilson in, and then at number 3, say they draft like an Abdul Carter, or they draft a Giant Hunter or somebody. That Giants defense has a chance to be a top 10 defense. They got a lot of talent defensively.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So that's our division's going to be tough. And then Paul, you brought up earlier the NFC North is a freaking gauntlet. I mean, you got Detroit. The Bears spent a shit ton of money. If Caleb Williams improves, they're going to be better. You got the Packers are good, and then you got the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
100%.
Which leads me to think that the fucking Rams playing a division with Seattle where you don't know what the hell they are, Arizona, who's okay, and the Niners are definitely probably going to take a step back. The Rams have probably the easiest division out of the whole conference.
And Joe, I agree with you too. I mean, one play away from getting to the Super Bowl against you guys, could have went either way. And they only got better. They signed their nucleus and they brought in Devontae Adams. Another wide receiver out there. It still has a lot of gas. You figure out in his last 2 years, he wasn't utilized. He played basically one full season in the last 2 years. It really wasn't even looked at, But I think it's a solid pick. And I agree with you. I think the Rams come out of there. And even though I think you and the Rams are pretty much, to me, 1 and 2 still right now, to me, going into early preseason, I give schedule wise, I give the Rams a 1 seed because the Niners may be an 0-2 team versus the Rams. The Cardinals, who knows what the hell they are? And Seattle's in a rebuild mode. We don't know what the hell that could be a season sweep right there for 6 games, right in the division starting off.
Yeah, exactly. And then right. And then the Eagles have that tough first place schedule. So that's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Although the Rams have a first place schedule too, but still,
right.
Tyler Warren will be this year's Brock Bowers. I can see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eddie Prather says, I wouldn't be sad if Dallas took him at 12.
You don't need a tight end right now. You need more pieces. You need more pieces for the Dallas Cowboys. You can't go out and get
a O-line and a running back. If Gentry's there, so be it. But mainly you need O-line due to the retirement of Zach Martin.
Well, no, I don't want to go O-line first round, Sean. I want to move Cooper Beebe back to right guard, put Hoffman at center, and do that. And if hopefully Tyler Guyton can work out our number 1 pick last year. But to me, I can go running back. John Davies are generational. Otherwise, I'm going, shit, if my best thing is a fucking McMillan dropped, I'm jumping on that right away. Or
what about the Ibuki kid from Ohio State?
I don't think he's a top 12 player, Sean. I really don't. I think he's late round. Either him or like a Luther Burden or Golden out of Texas. Someone like that. I can't take Bouquet at 12, though. No, I can't.
Okay.
Too early for me.
Could you guys go defense early, possibly, too?
Yeah, I can go. I mean, my biggest thing, if Graham drops, from Michigan, If he drops to
Yeah, oh
12,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
jumping. Like, that's Christmas right there for me. Jerry, turn the goddamn card in 2 seconds into the card, turn that shit in, get it. That's my perfect scenario. But you got
Yeah,
to go best. You got to go best
But the
player
funny
available.
thing is, don't you have? Was he hurt? You have a guy, Izizi from what's the name, right? If I'm correct, Michigan too as well. You guys,
Mozzie Smith, he's a D
yeah,
tackle. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Pair him up. I mean, but
Yeah, my thing is fine. I mean, with Lawrence, moving on, he went to Seattle as well. He's gone.
yeah,
Demarcus Lawrence is gone too. But you got to fill that spot, even though he only played 8 games last year. But he's still a
mm,
big body. You got to go
yeah.
defensive end. I mean, so many holes to take.
yeah. Eddie Prather says Mozzie Graham is the only D tackle he takes in the top 12.
He's good.
He says Mozzie sucks.
Yeah, Mozzie Smith sucks. He's overrated, our first round pick. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. Well, I mean that was but that's my point about how things can change so quick in
sure.
football. Let's be
Yes.
honest. Like last year, the Eagles have an all time season. Shit, one of only 4 teams to win 18 games in a season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We played Dallas twice, but like we said, you bring a healthy Dak Prescott, and just say hypothetically. I hope this doesn't happen, obviously, an Eagles fan, but say McMillan did slide, or maybe you moved up to get him. All of a sudden, if you added him to not to Dez, excuse me, CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
If you added him to CeeDee Lamb, you know what I mean? And then say you draft another runner, second, third round,
Mm-hmm.
You have the offensive line. Like you guys are in contention again.
Yeah, we're pieces away. I mean, not saying we're there yet, but I don't want to pull a Dak Prescott and say we're right there fucking with you. You know what I mean? I disagree with that point, but I mean, I think we are, a couple players away from competing,
Yeah.
not solidifying division, but I think we can compete if we get some right pieces. Yeah.
Well, look at this time last year. This time last year, we had no idea the Eagles had a good defense, right? We were coming off an epic collapse.
Right.
And then next thing you know, a month later, they draft Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, instant impact. Jalen Hunt in the third round wound up having impact towards the end of the year. A second year guy, Nolan Smith, came on second half of the year. Zach Bourne, nobody even knew who the hell he was. All-pro player. I guess my point is that who the hell would have thought all that shit would have happened for the Eagles this time last year? And of course, as an Eagles fan, I don't want this shit to happen. But who's to say that something like that couldn't happen for Dallas? It could happen for a lot of teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Sean, what's the guy from Georgia? That's Jihad Walker, isn't it? The linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it's not a need at linebacker for us. We have other players that we need. Maybe it's not a need for us. Honestly, I can't take him there. But
Well, the only guy that I think that I could see you guys taking is, let's flip it to another team, Bama. Bama Williams, I believe, from Bama, linebacker. He's pretty solid. He would fit very well for you guys.
Yeah, he's a run stopper. He's a plug and play guy. He controls the gaps. I like him too. I would take both players, but to me right now, I got to fill that wide receiver need. I got to fill the running back need. I got to fill my DN need. Linebackers, we're okay. We can sign Kyle Kendricks coming back for a 1-year deal, very cheap. He played his balls off last year for us, so I get that. But first, second round, I got to go with my plug and play, Sean. I have to, even though I would love to take him. If it was you guys, hell yeah, take him. But there's 3 names I want to mention to you guys real quick that I can see you draft, and I hope you guys do not draft them. Number 1, Joe, you already mentioned him, Malachi Starks, the safety. Okay,
Yeah.
He's up. He's top 10. We ain't getting him.
No, I agree. Somehow, because shit falls to you guys for some reason. So I'm just, putting
Yeah,
a name out there.
you're right. You never know. Go ahead.
The other one is Jack Sawyer, linebacker, Ohio State. I think he's a nasty-ass linebacker, okay?
They got him as an edge rusher, Paul, not a linebacker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He can play both. He can play both.
So bring it. He I like his high-end motor. Yeah, go ahead.
Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, of course. We're all familiar with him. Or Xavier Watts, a plug-and-play safety corner for you guys.
I seen Xavier Watts going to Baltimore, and I seen Morrison actually coming here because the dude can tackle his ass off.
Yeah. He only played 6 games last year, or not 3 games last year, too. He's coming off the injury. He's fine. He's rehabilitated. Because I was watching some of the film on him a couple of days ago. Man, he's making Kyle Hamilton, his days look like a rookie at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Prather hopes that Sawyer lasted you guys, Dallas, in the second round.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, he's a lunch pail guy. I love his attitude. I love how he plays at Ohio State. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Sawyer, he fits more with the Eagles with the exciting whites. I mean, we're just signing all kinds of white boys on our defense.
Yeah, bring it, baby. You never know. Hey.
Oh my God.
Trey Henderson, it'll never happen, but that'd be funny. Sawyer, and then two boys in the backfield. Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's bright whites.
I know, isn't that crazy? So here, I'm just out of curiosity, since we were talking about your Cowboys.
Yeah.
Here's a 3-round mock draft. What would you think of this as a Cowboys fan, Paul? This has excuse me, this has you guys getting Genty at number 12.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At number 44, it has you taking a cornerback from Ole Miss, Trey Amos.
I think he's a little bit undersized, though. I don't want a cornerback because I'm still going to bank on Jerome Bland and Trayvon Diggs coming back healthy, both coming off injuries last year. They're both, Bland's going to be getting paid either next year or the year after.
Mm-hmm.
I bank on them. I'm okay with my corners right now. I'm not drafting a safety second round. To me, did they go third round wide receiver, Joe, or defensive end?
Well, round 3, they have wide receiver, 76th overall, Jalen Royals, wide receiver from Utah State.
I don't want to go there. I'm either going to go Luther Burden or
Missouri.
Golden. Yeah, I want to go one of those guys.
Missouri or Texas.
I want to go one of them.
Yeah, well, you mentioned injuries, and when a football team has an injury, they have to have next man up. When you have an injury, you got to make a phone call. All right, if you want to get paid, you better call my man Paul's boy, Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or like I said, personal injury claims. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 close to your neck of the woods out there, Paul, in Pittsburgh. And then I got one more here while we're on the subject here. Make sure you check out the we got shows for everybody here. I mean, obviously, this is a Philadelphia themed show because Sean and I, of course, are big Philadelphia sports fans. But as you can see, we like talking the whole league, and so make sure you check out all these shows. You usually, not this week, but usually we have a Commanders Gridiron, and us as Eagles and a Cowboys fan, we hate them. So check out how your rivals are doing.
Exactly.
Make sure you check out the shows. So
yeah. And I tell you, Joe, this Thursday, man, Dan and I are going to be talking about the NFC North, that powerhouse division. So that's going to be something to talk about, coming up this Thursday night. That's a division I've been waiting to talk about.
Yeah, Michael Packard Jr. We talked about. He says Howie has ammo, 20 picks total between 26 and 27 drafts to trade up in the draft.
Absolutely.
I think that's what we're doing. And then we touched on this earlier. Eddie Prather says Golden is undersized. So,
but the boy can run.
He can run, though, man. I mean,
he runs great routes.
Yeah, he's a gazelle, man. He's a gazelle. I'd take him. If he drops that good to me, I'll take him. That's fine with me.
He's almost like you're worthy for you.
Exactly, Xavier Worthy. Exactly. Yeah, that's what he's compared to. That's what he's compared to.
Yep.
Yeah, Foster Covers with the bear down. Yeah, we gave you guys props earlier, but I'll tell you what. I mean. I think they're being pretty smart because the time for them to strike is now while Williams is on the rookie deal. So they went out, they solidified the O-line.
Yep.
They have them some weapons. I think they're a good bet to draft Genty if he's there. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Bears.
I think it's either the Bears. I mean, they have Swift still, but I think it's either Genty either goes to the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders make sense.
Raiders, Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I could see. And let's back to the Bears real quick. How about Scatterbo? Don't forget that kid from Arizona State. I mean, you really look at Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
He fits the mold if they say, oh, shit, we can't get him because so-and-so got Genty.
Yeah. Yep. Joe, I want to ask you and Sean real quick. On the Cowboy show, I was telling Dave he doesn't understand his salary cap, and you guys understand getting ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
signing players early. You guys understand that. As fans, we understand what that means for your generation. You signing players early. Let me ask you something. Josh Allen extended 6 years for $330 million. Okay. Now I'm not a mathematician genius. That's almost $60 million a year. To me, they set the bar automatically right away because I was telling Dave, man, $60 million a year right now is a top quarterback, Dak Prescott. Okay. In 2 years, it's going to be $70 million. In 4 years, we're talking $80 million. In 10 years, we're talking $100 million for a quarterback per year.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about getting ahead of the curve? Because I think it was the smartest goddamn move that the Buffalo Bills could have done, signing him till 2030.
It is. It's perfect because that's your franchise. The dude is what you want in a quarterback. He's lovable. He's likable. He throws. He runs. He's everything you want in a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he's proved it. Does he have some bad playoff games? Yeah, but it's going to happen. But as you get older, what do you get? You get wiser. Maybe something changes, but I like it. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. And here's one right here. Eddie Prather says Buffalo has a smart GM.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I think that who's going to be one of the next guys to get paid. I think is going to be Jalen Hurts.
What's he have left? Does he have 3 years or 2 years? Because he signed it last year, right? He signed it last year.
I think he signed up through. Let me hear. I'll look right now, Jalen.
Okay.
But the bottom line is that that's the kind of shit that Howie usually does. Like it wouldn't shock me. All right, Jalen Hurts. You know what? He's only signed through 2028.
Okay, I can see that next year getting ahead of the curve. Signing him for 4 years. I don't see a 6-year deal. I think maybe a 4 to 5 year deal. $55 million per year, mostly guaranteed money up front. I can see how he getting ahead of everybody doing that. Definitely good.
Yeah, because and then the other thing is too, when you do that, you might be able to you might be able to have him work with you and get flexibility in later years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like. Because I think the Chiefs just did that. I think Mahomes and Chris Jones just reworked their deals to give them salary cap space so they could keep a couple of their guys,
Agree.
So,
because some of these contracts are getting out of hand, man. I mean, fucking wide receivers making $40 million a year. Bengals signing $275 million for 2 wide receivers for the next 4 years each. It's insane with these damn prices. J.C. Horn got 3 years, $89 million. Then today, Derek Stingley. 33 years, $90 million, man. Wow, for a corner.
Well, that's why I'm wondering, like, even as good as how, like, you brought up the problem when you draft guys in the same draft. Like, I mean, I'm hoping he can find a way to keep Kenyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. But let's be honest, if corners are starting to get $30 million a year, they may actually have to make a choice between those two guys.
And that's a hell of a choice. I mean, he drafted in the same round coming in last year. Who would have thought? Quinton Mitchell, we knew about. We talked about DeJean moving from safety down the corner. But, man, when you got two lockdown corners as young as they are first year as rookies, they're going to get paid, Joe, and that's going to be your downfall. Can you pay both when the market goes up?
Yeah, Mike Papernick Jr. says, I live 3 hours from Buffalo and their fans by me, so bump the Bills. Their fans are whiners. Foster Cover says that's why the trades Bears did were well received. The contracts are on old salary cap rate. We're actually going to have still $9 million per season on multiple contracts. The big payout is the day after the 25-26 season ends.
Good. Yeah, they're building to compete, man. I mean, you have to in that division, which we'll be talking about Thursday night on my show. That division there, it's just you have to spend money to compete, man. When you're probably in, honestly, the 1 through 4 division, that's the toughest in the NFL with those 4 teams.
Yeah, Mike Papernick Jr. says, "What's Jalen Carter going to be worth?" I mean, shit. When you're looking at guys like Myles Garrett getting like $40 million a year, I mean, I think I don't
It's
see the
scary.
problem is that I don't think they can extend Jalen Carter until after this year. I don't like because
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
because
pretty much.
yeah, because honestly, if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm half tempted to start throwing him coin right now. You know what I mean? Like because in a couple years' time, it might be 45, 50. You know, I mean that's you know what I mean. Hey, let's keep it real though. It's a good problem. Having good players is a good problem to have, but it's also why in this league, like you need to win the Super Bowl. When you have a chance to win the Super Bowl, you better win the friggin' Super Bowl
Yeah.
because it's I'll tell you what. This gives me with what the Eagles have to do with the salary cap and all this shit. It gives me great appreciation for what New England Patriots did and what the Chiefs have done.
Right.
Because you look at you trying to compete year in year out in this salary cap era, it's hard as shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, what do you guys think about Jordan Davis? Because I'm hearing a lot of things that, for a not a every down player, is he worth the money? What do you guys do with him when his contract's ready to go?
I like to see what he could do, but
Right.
personally, I trade him.
Really? Okay.
See if any suitors that are out there for him because he hasn't produced like your Jomo
Right.
when he comes in and if needed. I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl. He did
Right.
pretty well in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if it means getting somebody younger and having on that rookie contract, so be it. I'm for it.
Yeah.
Next man up.
So for me, I mean, I want to see like he came on a little bit in the playoffs. I mean, he had because he really doesn't have much of a pass rush, and he only plays like 15, 20 snaps, and he doesn't play a ton of snaps. So like, I think they'll give him the 5th-year option, so he'll be here. He'll be here for this year and next year. And then, honestly, that's something I think we'll look for in the draft. I think you'll see the Eagles. The Eagles will be looking for a really, really big run-stuffing nose tackle type guy. And then that way, if Jordan Davis, I think it's highly likely Jordan Davis probably just plays here 2 more years and then walks.
Okay. Reason why I asked that because I was listening to a Dallas podcast yesterday and mentioned the name Jordan Davis, coming in there. Dallas willing to make a trade in his 3rd year coming up there because they lost Nevin Gallimore, our true signed Odigizua, but you want that big nose tackle that doesn't have to play 30 snaps a game. But do you really want to pay the money, Joe, just like you said, for a guy that's playing 15 snaps, per game with an old school nose tackle mentality that could be an all pro? I don't want to assume, the weight's the issue, what the cardio, but we all knew going in there when you got a 350-pound beast that could, dominate a game, but the cardio was there too. We've seen that, but I was just curious about what you guys thought about that.
No, you can't, especially considering that if Nolan Smith continues to come on, he's going to get a big payday.
Yeah.
And Jalen Carter's going to get a big payday. So I know Howie values the trenches, but there's only so many guys you can pay.
Exactly.
And for what Jordan Davis does, which is mostly a run stuffer, you can find guys like that in the middle round.
Absolutely.
Draft, and you can find a guy that's like 350, and you say, hey, you know what? I want you to take up a couple blockers, get your fat ass in there, and you don't have to, and you don't have to pay $15 million for that.
Agree, 100%.
You know what I mean? In fact, I mean, what it goes down to would I like to keep Jordan Davis? I mean, shit, yeah, I'd like to, but I mean, but looking at it in the salary cap world, like Nakobe Dean, I'd like to keep Nakobe Dean. His contract's up at the end of the year, but to be honest with you, you just prioritize Zach Bourne. Yeah. I think it's Now maybe Nakobe Dean can stay because he's had injury problems, so maybe he doesn't get a big contract, so maybe you can keep him.
Yeah, move on from him.
Well, that's my point. Like, when you're building this football team, you're going to have one guy in Zach Bourne that's paid for a couple more years. The other linebacker is going to have to be the guy that's like in the mid rounds, like a Jeremiah Trotter Jr. type guy, or you know what I mean, or a vet on like a Kai. Or here's one. Like right now, Kaiser White is a free agent. Kaiser White plays for the Eagles. if I'm the Eagles, like I let him sit out there. If he doesn't really get a big contract, maybe you bring him in on the cheap as a backup, and he rotates in there. You know what I mean? Because Nakobe Dean's coming off an injury, so he may not be quite ready. You might not be ready to just hand the job to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So maybe you bring in a vet as that says, hey, if Trotter Jr. is not ready for this or Dean's not right, hey, you know what? You're going to start the first few weeks. At least you have experience. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I'm always biased against Notre Dame. Of course, that's our team. Of course, all three of us on the panel here. But a name that could drop maybe round 4 or 5 is Jack. What's his name? Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame, the linebacker.
Yeah,
I think he's a solid guy. That's hell.
They
You
have
sign
him
him.
coming here.
Yeah, you got a 4-year deal on him, very cheap. We know what he's all about. He'll put his helmet in anything out there, and he's a defender of the ball as well. I think he's a great guy if you want to go young, because say if Kobe Dean's on his last year, you let him walk. You bring in a younger guy. It's basically an East, North, South guy. Same thing in Jack Kaiser. So we'll see. I mean, we can't wait till the draft, man, because we always do that live draft, and I tell you what, I hope I don't break my table like I did last year, man. I'll tell you that, because I might get pissed off again.
Well, there's a San Diego State has a linebacker, Samoan dude, went to USC, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
The dude plays like Palomala, but as a linebacker.
God,
sign me up.
Yeah, but hey, man, you know what? I could talk football all night, but I was going to get in. I was going to get into a little Philly spring training, but you know what? We'll do our baseball next week. Sean, you were saying we may possibly have a guest sometime next week for baseball.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll keep you guys in tune.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully that happens and talk baseball.
All right, cool. Yeah,
Joe, real quick, I want to ask you something. I know we're not big fans of it. I watch it all the time. I'm going crazy about it. But who's your pick to win everything in March Madness?
Oh God, you know what? Who's yours?
Mine. I'm gonna go. Since we're on out of the box here, I'm gonna go a team that's playing the right way right now. Just beat Bama, just beat Tennessee to get to the championship.
Florida.
I'm gonna go Florida. Their offense is good. Their defense is nasty. When you got a front line 6'11" and above, and on the bench, you guys know they have a 7'7" center, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Florida. That's my team right now. If I'm picking one, I'm gonna go Florida. I'm gonna go Florida.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna Sean. How about you? I'm looking for somebody out of the, like Paul said. I'm looking for somebody like out of the box type team.
St. John's, baby.
Ooh, number 2 seed. I like them. Rick
St.
Pitino's
John's.
time. Rick Pitino's time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going out of the box, go to fucking North Carolina, a team that doesn't fucking belong, Joe. Okay.
I know. I saw that last night.
Yeah.
And the commissioner is a part of
Is
North Carolina. Is the head
commissioner
of
for
the committee
NC.
from North Carolina. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. 1-12 in the quad 1 win-loss record, and you get in over West Virginia and Indiana. Come on.
You know what? I'm gonna go because I'm going out of the box. I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna go Michigan State. I'm gonna go the Ike Reeses, Michigan State.
Tom Izzo, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Shit, it's been what? 25 years? They won in 2000, right? It's been 25 years.
Yeah, God. Oh my God, shit.
I have to be honest with you. I totally agree with this. Mike Packernick Jr. says, I fell out of love with college basketball when the one and done was allowed.
You got to bring John. You got to blame John Calipari for all that shit with Kentucky. You know what I mean? That's the reason why it happened right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I can remember years ago, being so excited.
Oh yeah.
Being so excited when March Madness would come. In fact, they actually say that March Madness is like the highest day for vasectomies, I think, and then the start of March Madness, more dudes get vasectomies because they can just split their feet up and ice their balls while they watch college basketball.
I'm getting mine next week.
I know, right?
I had mine done 9 years ago, so I'm good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh man.
And Paul, Dave Yarnell's got a message for you. He says, jealousy will get you nowhere. Go Heels.
Dave, just like I said last year, bet the house that you guys are getting beaten in round of 16. And what happened, Dave? Remember that, Dave. Overrated. And you know what? Go San Diego State Aztecs. Beat these goddamn Tar Heels. Send them back to Tobacco Alley. Crying and crying and crying, Dave. Just be lucky you're in the tournament this year, brother.
I was going to say, it's been a long time since the Tar Heels were like this guy's Carolina. Wait, here we go. This guy's Carolina Blue.
Oh, exactly right. Oh man,
you know what I mean? I mean the ghost of MJ and Vince Carter and all those great North Carolina players. Because this team blows.
James Worthy. Oh my God, those players
Sam
that they
Perkins.
had back in the day. Exactly, that was a team right there. My God.
Yeah, and now Dean Smith is like turning over in his grave. Like, damn, dude. Like I mean, think about it. Did you ever? That just goes to show you the state of college basketball, though. Like, did you ever imagine in your life that you would sit here and wonder and there would actually be a debate whether North Carolina belonged in the tournament?
Joe, here's the crazy thing. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's a big basketball fan. I was like, remember back in the day, it used to be the ACC dominance. ACC dominance everywhere. SEC in football is a football school.
Yeah,
13 out of the 14 teams made the March Madness out of the SEC basketball. How times have changed. It used to be Big 12, ACC, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina. Now it's all SEC teams. Bama, these teams, Tennessee. It's insane that it's SEC driven now for college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember years ago, Remember, I mean, like I said, I've been so out on college basketball, I can't remember the last time, I'm just not into it anymore. But years ago, ESPN used to have Big Monday. Remember they had Big Monday, and you'd have the Big 12. You'd have what? It would be Big 10 at 7, and then like the Big 12 at 9. It'd be like 9:30. You'd have like a Kansas versus Missouri or some shit.
Yeah, I remember exactly. I remember checking into that. Like, the ACC, the Big 10 Monday, they used to play ACC, used to play Big 10. And I'm like, oh man, Duke's playing this team. Michigan's playing this team. Even though it's a compared battle, I'm like, let's go. Now it's just like, who the fuck is this team? What the hell? What the hell?
It sucks. It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably tune in a little bit Thursday, Friday. Like when I'm sitting at my desk on Thursday afternoon, I'll probably have my headphones and my YouTube TV on here and there. But if there's like a cool upset, like how the first day or two, there's usually some 14 seed that beats a 3 or whatever. And if I happen to check my phone and it pops up, 14 might beat this, I'll turn this shit on for a few minutes. But I'd be lying to you if I said I really gave a shit.
Nowadays, you want that Cinderella team to win it all. You want a Cinderella team just to go far, win it all, because you're done with this shit. Like, okay, with the NIL deals, you build the best team. I'd rather see a team just nobody knows who this team is. Get to the finals. There's always going to be that team, always. But that's what I'll be watching for.
Yeah, but real quick, we're going to get ready to wrap up. One last thing, since we were talking about college basketball, did anybody see this? The Sixers are going to win the lottery. You know why? You know why, right, guys? You know why the Sixers are going to win the lottery? I'm gonna tell you why. Because Cooper Flagg was in a wheelchair last week after he hurt his ankle. So if there's ever a guy we didn't get to talk Sixers because they're not even worth our time right now. But hoping they tank, hoping they luck out and get the first pick. And Cooper Flagg is a surefire former Sixer because he's already ready for the Sixers. His ass was
he's talking to Joel. He's talking to my man Paul George. So let's go.
Yeah, like Cooper.
Oh my God!
The minute he gets drafted, he calls Joel and Paul George. He's like, is this how I work on my game? What do? I just get in the chair, they push me around.
Bet I got you a wheelchair. Don't you worry.
Well, you know what, Joe? I'm glad if Cooper Flagg comes here. I hope he watches the show because we got that guy called Jason Fine, 1-800-HURT-123, brother, in Philadelphia. So he'll take care of you.
Yeah, but all right. Well, listen. Well, next week we'll do some Phillies talk. Paul, thanks for hopping on with us, man. I love talking football with you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck to anybody out there that's playing college basketball pools. I know I may play one, but I got to admit though, I used to know my shit. College basketball, I'll be like the women back in the day that used to win the pool where they just pick the team names. That'll be me. I might as well throw darts. You know what I mean?
Let little Joey pick them.
You know
That's
what?
how we'll win.
You know what? I'm going to let little Joey pick it. That's a good call. If I play one, I'm going to let little Joey pick it, and I'll show him the mascots and tell him to pick the mascots. I guarantee I'll do better than me.
There you go.
GG won it from me.
Yeah, so all right, guy. All right, everybody. Hey, we'll be back next week. Good luck on your picks, and we'll see you.
Take care.
Oh. What did I hit the wrong? Oh, what did I got to hit?